Welcome to Tuesday's Tips from So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today I want to talk about stilettos. And I'm talking about sewing stilettos, not a stiletto that you wear on your feet. And there are a lot of things that you can use as a stiletto. You can buy stilettos, but you can also make do with certain things that you might already have in your house. So let me show you a couple of stilettos and how you work them, and you can decide yourself on what type of stiletto you would like to use. So as you can see here, a couple of these things, well, are not stilettos. This is a stiletto, and it comes in many different ways. You can get it very long handled and a longer needle point, and you can get them short like this. And it has a very sharp point to it. And I'm going to show you first on why it's very important to have that very sharp point. The sharp point needs to dig into the fabric just ever slightly. So for example, if I wanted to count this layer of fabric, if I was to try to do it with my fingers, it would be very time consuming. Not that you can't do it, but it would take a lot. With the stiletto, it grabs the fabric and I would be able to very quickly count the fabric. If your seam ripper has a very sharp point on it, it will work in the same manner. You would be able to move the fabric because it has that point. You still will be able to stab it. Now here is the end of a brush, and you can see it's not as pointy, so this is not going to work as well. A crochet hook is definitely not going to work well. A nail file, but really it's still not the preferred because it slides more than digging into the fabric. Now we have tweezers. Again, tweezers do not have a sharp enough point so it doesn't dig into the fabric. The next thing you can do is you can take a plain chopstick and sharpen it. As long as it has a very sharp tip, it will work very similar. It has enough of a point that it's going to grab the fabric. Without the point, well, it's not going to be able to do anything. The three here would be your best. Of course, a purchased stiletto is still my favorite, but these are my close runner-ups. To use them, it's great because when you are going to want to sew this pile of fabric together and you have got this beside your machine, you're going to have to pick up one piece of fabric and pick up a second piece of fabric. Then you're going to put them together because you want to sew here. So again, I'm struggling trying to take one piece at a time. Where if I have the stiletto, I'm just able to take one, bring it to the machine, take another, and bring it right to the machine. And I'm going to be able to use this to guide that fabric right along the edge. So it is definitely more precise than me using my hand. I'm able to slide that right over, and then I'm going to be able to sew along here. Then when this piece is out and through to the machine, I'm able to take this again because it's not left my hand, and I'm able to flip my one, flip the second, and guide it so that it lines up and I'm able to sew it. So sewing a pile of blocks together, the stiletto is very, very convenient for that. The next thing a stiletto is very good for is if you're going to sew a very, very long piece and you don't want to pin it, but you do need to keep that edge together. So once you have that lined up and you start sewing, you would be able to just take the stiletto and move the fabric as you're sewing right to the edge. So this, using a stiletto, will make it a lot easier. So once you've learned to sew with a stiletto, you'll wonder how you've ever sewn without it. It really is a lot easier because of that tiny little point, because let's face it, our finger is definitely not as pointy as this. And well, it does make your sewing a whole lot easier. Give it a try and let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me today on So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back and let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.